Hello, everybody. It's Michael B. Thank you so much for joining me once again on another Monday night. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you might have known that this show almost never happened tonight. I was actually really, really sick this weekend. I don't know what the hell happened. I woke up Saturday morning and I was just miserable. I had a really bad stomach and I just felt like super nauseated, really upset stomach, felt like I was going to throw up all the time. Basically ended up sleeping all weekend. And then I finally woke up and was sensible again around last night around 6 o'clock. And then at that point, I couldn't get back to sleep. So I'm going on 1 hour sleep from last night. And I'll tell you more about it as the show goes on. But, anyways, rumors of my demise are greatly overstated. And it's also the same thing with Arcade1Up. I don't know where the hell this is coming from. People keep making these videos like Arcade1Up is dead, Arcade1Up is going away, Arcade1Up is done, which really doesn't track with me. I mean, when we were following Arcade1Up, not Arcade1Up, iArcade, no one even made a video saying iArcade is dead. We just said, geez, there looks to be problems. I mean, the company's coming out saying we're not making any more cabinets. We're not doing this. We can't tell you what's happening in the future. That's not the case at all with Arcade1Up. Arcade1Up is like, hey, we got a bunch of cabs coming out this year, and we don't know what's going to happen next year, but they haven't said they were going to stop making anything. So I don't know where these rumors are coming from. And since we're going along the theory that this company is still going to be in business in 2024, well, I'm going to hope that they're going to make some XL cabs. So let's talk about it. Arcade1Up, what XL cabs could they possibly make in 2024? What's rumored? What might be? And more importantly, what the hell do we actually want, right? Anyways, guys, sit back, relax. Hopefully, this is going to be a fun show. Thankfully, I'm on this side of the sod and I can do it with you tonight. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. All right, guys, let me get the chat up on the screen so we can get some of these questions. Chat overlay, let's rock and roll. I don't like this, so we will pull this up like that. Yeah, that's good. You can notice my hair is not usually as coiffed as it normally is. I really need a haircut really bad, but I basically haven't really left the house since I got home from Cleveland. And of course, getting sick this weekend really didn't help. Removing the bad decision makers is a positive, Charlie Chuck says. Yeah, that might be it. Sterling Hall says, hi, Michael. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much, Sterling. I appreciate that, man. For those of you who don't know, it's Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. I talked about being sick all weekend. Unfortunately, that involved me missing Thanksgiving dinner with my family at the in-laws yesterday, but luckily I'm blessed enough that not only does my wife have her parents and that family still with us and close to us, but we also had my family as well. So while I missed dinner at the in-laws with my family, I did get to go out today and have dinner with my family and my wife and kids and everything. So that was really nice. Couldn't eat as much as I normally do, so I didn't really get to enjoy it because still haven't got my appetite back fully. But hey, I got to enjoy it all the same, and it was more so the company than anything else, right? That's what Thanksgiving's all about, I'm told, not just the turkey. Again, guys, I'm going on 1 hour sleep, so I will try to do my best tonight. I'm feeling a little woozy here, man. Science Spirit says the only prescription you need is more pinball. Thank you very much, man. We'll talk about that in a bit. So tonight we got some fun stuff to talk about. I want to talk about XL cabs because you guys know I fall in love with these stupid things. Like, I mean, I've been saying right from the get-go, this is what Arcade1Up probably should have been doing all along. The Golden Tee 3D XL, the NBA Jam XL, man, horrible screens in these cabs, but the cabs themselves just have something about them, some kind of like great build quality, the right form factor. There's something, even though Shaq, for some reason, is pasted all over the side of the NBA Jam cab, I'm still in love with it, and I'm excited to see them do more. Of course, I've also got the KI Pro behind me, which is an incredible cab, incredible friggin' cab. Never should have been $1,000, but outside of that, it's a great friggin' cab. And then, of course, you've got the absolute badass Pac-Man behind me, which is really, really sparked my love of these XL cabs, and with a hope for the future of more of these cabs to come. Really quickly, we got a $4.99 super chat here from Scott J. Parisi. I hope I said that right, Scott. $4.99 US. Arcade1Up is done in my collection unless I see XL Track and Field and Hypersports in one. Will I see you in Schaumburg next week? I was really trying to make it, Scott. I'm still trying to make it, but I can't promise you anything right now. I've had so many people try to help me get there too. People from the community, like I mentioned, Stringer Films and my buddy Nick J. Madsen, they offered me a room, like basically a cot in the room if I needed it. I don't think that's going to be available now. I think Mode is actually going to take the original room with them. So I don't know if that's available, but they offered that to me. And I've also got some great people from my Toronto Arcade1Up Canadian fan page that have said they'll possibly go, and I could probably hitch a ride with them. Charlie Chuck, who's here in the chat. Conti Dinda, I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but Conti has mentioned I could possibly get a ride up with him. And Atul, I think he told me not to tell anybody he was going, but if I was going, I could possibly get a ride with him as well. So yeah, Parise has no sound. So Paris with an I at the end. Parasai. I hope I said that right. I will see Stringer when I'm there. Know him from TNT Amusements. Yeah, he is awesome. And so because of the super chat, I've also got a new announcement. We can take you. We are 1 hour away from that event. Oh, Cornercade, I might take you up on that, brother. Who knows? The problem is getting there for me because the flight, if I didn't go in through Toronto, is like $900, and it's just not a possibility now. And also with my pinball situation, it's really complicated shit as well. Anyways, some fun news here. Thanks very much for the super chat. I've heard all your guys' critical feedback on my Pinball Money super chat videos, and I wanted to say I agree. They're too short. They're just goddamn too short. The new edits I did were too short. So I actually went back, re-edited them this week, made them a little bit longer for your enjoyment. But also on top of that, I did hear some real feedback that the sound effects I added with the money ka-ching and then the whoosh on the away were a little bit too loud. So I lessened those a little bit for you. Don't say I don't do stuff for you, but thank you very much for the super chat. And to celebrate that, you got to give the people what they want. Hopefully that was a little bit more tolerable than what it was before, guys. I try my best. Someone also complained that I smack my lips and cough into the mic all the time, so I'm going to try not to do that as well. This is by far the best one. Yes, Charlie Chuck knows. Stranger Things release versus Pinball Expo. We'll get into that because I'm in a time crunch right now to try to put together about $10,000 to get my Stranger Things pinball. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But anyways, a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight on the XL cabs. Let's call a spade here right now. There's not a lot of news in the home arcade world. We know we have 2 more big releases coming from New Wave Toys, but we don't have any information on that yet. In terms of Arcade1Up, they're done for the year. There's no more releases coming from them. At least that's what we've been told. And I mean, honestly, October is really the cutoff date in order for them to get stuff in for holiday. So if they don't have something announced now, it's probably not coming out in stores before the end of this year. It's going to be on the next one. So we'll see how that goes. And with At Games, there's lots of cool news, but nothing new on the At Games Legends pinball front until the Chicago Pinball Expo, where we're going to get to see the At Games Legends Pinball 4KB for the very first time. So without news, in the absence of news, we can do some fun stuff and we can speculate. And I know the optics on this are horrible because I do the show with Arcade1Up and y'all think I have inside knowledge. I don't. But it's up for you to decide when I talk about this stuff, whether you believe me or not. So I'll leave it up for you to decide. Anyways, let's have some fun. Tonight, we're going to be talking about XL cabs. I actually have a poll up in the chat right now. Which cab would you like to see become an XL in 2024. Your options are Star Wars, Centipede, Mortal Kombat, and something new, which, unsurprising to me, is absolutely kicking ass so far. And that's probably where we'll start, because I'm probably going to break a lot of people's hearts. Uh, Smitty says, Michael B, I'm a hater of your pinball videos. That's okay, Smitty. A lot of people are. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of people don't like them. Some people like them. These new ones are perfect. That's what I'm talking about, Smitty. I don't know if it was you, Smitty, who mentioned to me or not, but someone did mention that the loud noises at the beginning and the end were really offsetting. People told me before the music was too loud, so I tried to lower all that and keep that at a steady tone so it wasn't as bad. So thank you very much. All right, so let's go up and say hello to a couple people here in the chat. We like you, F the videos. God bless you. Nicholas Diorio, that's a great comment, guys. I just want to say hello to everybody that's here. So many of you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me every Monday night. I really appreciate it. So remember the week everyone was seething about how YouTubers covered the 4K pin too much? Yeah, what the hell is wrong with everybody? Like, there's so much terrible shit going on in the world, so much horrible stuff. Like, you just turn on the real news every day and you're like, dear God, this is awful. The world is awful. Maybe some of us just want to escape and talk about some stupid toys for a little bit and have a little bit of fun. But no, then people got to ruin that too and say, oh, too many people are talking about the goddamn 4K pinball. It's fun. This is fun. We're all excited to talk about it. Like, you talk about the ethics and morality of whether or not we want to talk about it or not. Talk about whether or not we're shilling. Hey, I do shill, man. And when I shill, I get paid for it. If I'm not getting paid for it, I'm not shilling. I'm just talking about stuff I enjoy. So go to hell. All right. We got a $4.99 super chat here from my buddy Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. Give the people what they want, Michael B. Ezekiel, you are the absolute best, man. The absolute best. Thank you very much. And I'm going to play a new one for you guys. I think this is a new one. If this is not a new one, I've pressed the wrong button. But you got to give the people what they want. That's right. I still haven't given up hope on my Halloween pinball. I did get to play it for the very first time while we were in Cleveland. Very first pinball bar we went to, the bowling alley, had a Halloween, and I loved it. I mean, I don't know why everybody dislikes it, but I do understand what everybody's saying about, oh, well, they all seem to be broken because 3 of the servos on the Michael Myers hedge maze were all broken. So there you go. Custom knife handle, Nicholas, you know. All right, so I got the chat up. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. I do want to go through it all, but I know it'll take me as long as 19K Fox, and I don't want to go through 30 minutes of that. Nothing to no, not a shot against Fox or anything like that. It's just I will try my best to say hello to all of you in the chat and try to catch your comments. One thing I know I'm not great at, that I'm trying to get better at, is trying to catch all your guys' comments as they're going through here in the chat and get really good questions. That's right. Cornercade is coming on after this. So after you're done here, go check out the Cornercade. Got to play Blue Oyster Cult. And I can't be getting hit. That's why I always go find these covers so I don't get hit with the copyright strikes. 30 minutes is Fox's trademark. I know. I like to give him a hard time about it. All right, guys. So let's get started. First off, let's talk about the elephant in the room. So I see the way the poll's going, and please don't allow me to dissuade your voting, because you should 100% put up in the poll exactly what you want. You got to tell people so Arcade1Up can give the people what they want. So right now, 16 minutes in with 99 votes, 48%, almost 50% of the audience is saying they want something new in the XL cabs. And that's not a huge surprise, because as we've seen this past year, been a lot of re-releases. Hasn't been a lot new. The only two new cabs that we've got are Fast and the Furious and, of course, Time Crisis, which isn't here yet. So, with just two cabs coming out this year, and of course the Casino-cade, but I mean, it's a Casino-cade. Some people like it, some people don't. It's not a product for me. Other people said they wanted like game room accessories, so I don't know. I got to work on this coughing bit. So, anyways, I know a lot of people are saying they want something new, and I understand that. And I'm very sorry for what I'm about to say, but I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you're going to get XL something new. The truth of the matter is, Arcade1Up, first and foremost, is a 3/4 scale arcade company. Is it the right decision? I don't know. I think they always should have been the XL size. I think that's the right fit for me, what I want from Arcade1Up, but that's not what everybody wants. And there's a lot of people out there with full arcades right now that basically have no interest in turning around and rebuying everything in XL, or they just want to keep shit the way it is. So it would be detrimental for Arcade1Up to turn away from that. So I do think any new releases that do come out going forward, that's a new release, is probably going to be coming directly through the deluxe line, 3/4 scale line. So I know 49% of you are saying something new. I think it's very unrealistic to expect a new title to come out next year and for it to be in the XL form factor. Well, then you say, well, why can't it just be a game they release in deluxe and XL? Well, you could try that, but you know, they have data to show that that doesn't necessarily work, because you think about when Killer Instinct came out and everybody was like, oh man, Killer Instinct, this is a great release. Twisted Chris just got one. He loved it. Holy shit, we love it. Then, of course, the day when it finally gets ready to sale, they announced that there's going to be a pro version coming on later on down the line, and the sales just got swamped for that. And then when the pro version came out at $1,000, which was way too much, that's when they put the Killer Instinct 3/4 on sale for $299. So it killed the momentum for the pro as well. So as much as I would like to say that why don't you do both? It's just going to dilute the sales for one or the other. It sucks because you might want that title right away, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I got to rebuy it in XL. You're going to have to make smart buying decisions. You look at a title come out, say, for example, I don't know, someone mentioned Spy Hunter here a minute ago. They release a Spy Hunter and you're like, I love it. I don't know if I want to buy it in deluxe. You're going to have to make that judgment call whether or not it's going to come out in deluxe and then come out in XL later if you really want the XL form factor. Maybe not exactly what you want to hear, but I think that's the truth. So the first thing I'll say is it likely we get something new, a new title in XL before it goes to deluxe? I don't think so. That's not to say it's out of the possibility, out of the realm of possibility, but realistically, this is a 3/4 scale company. Any new release is probably going to go through the 3/4 line before it goes to XL. So with that negativity out of the way, let's start talking about some of the positive stuff. And before we go through that, we do have a couple super chats I want to get to. And I'm going to try to say this right because it's Scott again. Scott with a $1.99 super chat, a local in Philly, Phila, but it's Philly, has a new inbox Halloween C $7,500 US. Ooh, I wonder how much shipping would be. So that's Scott Parasai. It feels weird to me, so I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Scott Parasai, tell me if I'm closer. Thank you very much for the $1.99 super chat. And you got to give the people what they want. And right after that, we've got a super chat here from my buddy Gallagher Guy, Gallagher Guy 88, met Gallagher Guy in Cleveland, super nice dude. Centipede needs a reboot. Vertical screen, please. Oh, you are speaking my language. Parisi, did I get it right? Maybe you got it right, Jason. I should know this because there's a hockey player. I can't remember his name now. Zach Parisi, and I should know how to say this. I don't know if it's pronounced the exact same way. Parisi. Parisi. Closer. Thanks, Scott. I can do it. I just needed the enunciation. Thank you very much. Gallagher Guy, $1.99. Centipede needs a reboot. Me and you are on the exact same wavelength. And because of that, you got to give the people what they want. One of my biggest frustrations is the fact I never got to play Pulp Fiction Pinball while I was in Cleveland. I'm so jealous. You guys in Chicago that are going, if I can't get there, enjoy it, man. I really, really want to get my hands on a Pulp Fiction Pinball machine, baby. We've also got a huge $10 super chat here from Smitty. Thank you very much. Just imagine an XL Spy Hunter, right with Don Johnson. S sound, no Z, just like Zach, but with no Z sound. Parisi. I really hope I'm saying it right. Thanks, Scott. I'm sorry. Smitty says, just imagine XL Spy Hunter, Don Johnson on it. Thank you very much, Smitty. You got to give the people what they want. See, that's another new one. That's another new one. I got new songs. I got room for one more too. So we'll see what we can do there. There is my Pulp Fiction. I've played it. It was in Allentown, and I have a deposit on the L8. That's right. Yeah, don't worry, Michael B. Can't say Mario or sorry correctly either. That's true, Paul. That's 100% true. Thanks, Sand Spirits. All right, guys. So now, with that out of the way about the new cab, Parisi. Yeah, there we go. It only took me like 45 minutes. Carlo says, I like that one, just not the running up the hill slop. Hey, come on, man. It's all about Stranger Things. We'll talk about that later. So here's what we know. We know it's probably not going to be a new cab, so it is going to be released. Anything that comes out in the XL line is going to be a re-release. So I went back and looked at it, and I said, what cabs do I think make the most sense for them to do an XL re-release? What would be the most interesting cabs or the easiest cabs for them to do? So, of course, I think you guys are going to know, obviously, one of the very first ones that are coming up here. I don't think this is going to be a huge surprise, but I got to think Mortal Kombat. Like, I love Mortal Kombat. See if I can do this better. I don't like any of these. Sorry for coughing, guys. So, Mortal Kombat Deluxe arcade game, $690. This is the deluxe. A lot of people were very happy with this reconfiguration of what last year's 3/4 scale Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary was. Essentially the exact same game lineup, but I think it jumps up, or maybe the 30th had Clax already. I try to block that from my mind, Clax and Paperboy being on this shit. But where it did get better was the fact that it had the BOE screen and, of course, the riserless form factor. So it only makes sense to me for them to continue on with this and do an XL version of Mortal Kombat. Control panel just a little wider, so it's a little bit more comfortable and enjoyable to play. Let's be honest, those two-player fighter control panels, it never really feels like there's enough room on those decks. So the ease and access of an XL would certainly make that more enjoyable. Maybe even two people could play it comfortably at that point. And then, of course, everything else about it makes sense. So this would be an obvious one. Also, the Capcom HS1 the Capcom arcade Street Fighter that they're doing this year is also another great choice. I think Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter are slam dunk choices for an XL. That's just my opinion. It might not be what everybody wants, but I think those would be good choices. So I've added this to the poll. And so far, let me just bring up the poll options, bring this down for a second. So far on the poll, Mortal Kombat is actually in last place, surprisingly. But I'm not surprised by this, even though I think it would be a slam dunk. realistically, us as an audience, we've already seen how many Mortal Kombat releases now. If I buy the deluxe cab, that would be my fourth Mortal Kombat, as I've already bought the one from Wave 2. I've already bought the Mortal Kombat, what was it? The Midway Legacy cab, the first one that had that terrible line of sight issue. And I also bought Mortal Kombat 30th that just had that really terrible screen. So most people have already bought maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 Mortal Kombat cabs to date. So the concept of buying a 5th or even 3rd or 4th Mortal Kombat might not be appealing to everybody, but me personally, I love Mortal Kombat, so I would like to see another one. I also like Street Fighter. I want to see where this goes. 19K Fox says they start with the risered cabs. The risered cabs are done, buddy. They are gone. It's deluxe from here on out. One is it fits in a smaller box, so it's easier and cheaper to ship, and they don't have to put a riser in it. You'll never see a riser cab again. You'll see classics, but never a riser cab again. Never, 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 never again. Atari 51st anniversary. Yeah, we don't need any more Atari anniversary, 50th anniversary cabs. That's not for me. Anyways, Mortal Kombat, a fighting cabinet. To me, it makes sense. That's another one I would do an XL. I would be very happy to do. But what else could you do? And this is one where it gets really interesting to me. I love this idea. I'm also going to mention this. Has anybody else noticed that Arcade1Up, for like the 19th time, have done like a website upgrade to their website? So I went in earlier to try to get pictures, and the way I've been doing it, in order to get really, really good, high quality pictures, I would have to go in off my phone, save the picture from my phone, and then I would send it to myself through my wife. I would send my wife the picture, and then she would respond with, "I don't want to see your arcade shit on my Facebook." But that's how I was getting the pictures back and forth. I would transfer it through her Facebook. But what happened now, I went in and I couldn't save it off their website on my phone. So I went in and I noticed they did another website change. So when you go down, you remember you scrolled down, you used to be able to bring up the YouTube video. Of course, they're going to make me a liar on this one because there it is. I couldn't find the YouTube video earlier when I was looking for it. But, well, there it is. I'm a goddamn liar. The Atari Centipede Deluxe Cab, I absolutely love this cab. Gross Gaming, I do not have my Dragon's Lair. We could talk about that in a little bit. So, and there's a big reason for that, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. So here's the Centipede Deluxe cabinet, or not Centipede Deluxe, the Centipede Atari Legacy cabinet that came out last year. And I absolutely love this cabinet. But there's 2 big reasons I wouldn't buy it, which should be pretty clear. One is that's a horizontal screen. This is the second time they've done an Atari Legacy cab where they picked a game that has an absolutely beautiful cabinet and then put the wrong kind of screen in there. And like I feel like we're just talking into the wind sometimes on this stuff, but I understand why they did it. I remember I asked John D when the Tempest cab came out, and I said, why in God's name would you put a horizontal screen on a vertical game? And he explained it's the rule of 80-20, because only 20% of the games on the Atari Legacy are vertical screen games. So 80% are horizontal. So they want to make the screen the right fit for the majority of games on the cabinet. So, I mean, that's fine. That's the problems with doing these stupid multicades. But I mean, what do you want here? Like, what do we want? Do you want a cab that's more accurate, that has more accurate controls, the right screen, or do you want to stick on as many games as possible? Alan Degne says, I put my Gen 1 screen and board in my Legacy Centipede. You're a smart man, Alan. I should have done the same. One of my biggest regrets is I sold my Centipede cab. So anyways, it was the fact that this had a horizontal screen on a Centipede cab, which is just atrocious. Then on top of that, the screen that they put in there was a TN monitor. Now, anybody who has this, and I saw Rob Kessel actually pick one up for $200. If I could have got for $200, I would have picked it up as well. But the screen that they put in this was that TN monitor. Horrible blacklight, horrible screen issues from side to side. So it killed this cab for me, and it breaks my heart too because it's such a beautiful cabinet. Centipede is one of the most beautiful arcade cabinets of all time. It's just gorgeous to look at. They did a really good job with this, with the light up marquee, the bezel. They even had, the volcano start buttons. Everything looked awesome with this cabinet. Faux coin door. But I couldn't bring myself to buy it because of that screen and the fact it was horizontal. So here's where it gets interesting. You could do this in an XL with a vertical screen, do it right in 19 inches, and then, those 80% of games that are going to be horizontal, well, the horizontal on a 19-inch screen works out to about 15 inches instead of squat down to about 13 inches. So maybe it would be more manageable to put the horizontal games on a vertical screen in an XL Centipede. That's just one idea. The other idea is screw the other games, and I know people are going to hate this, but just put vertical games on it. Just give me the vertical games. I'm fine with that. Put a trackball on it, put a spinner, give me Centipede, Millipede, Tempest, Warlords. I don't know, but I would buy that. I just want a friggin' Centipede in an XL form factor that looks like this with a vertical screen. So that's my 2 cents on that one. They can even do a horizontal with an Atari theme in horizontal as well as a Berserk variant. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, there was lots of options for them to do Atari cabs with a horizontal screen. You have Asteroids. You have Crystal Castles. Beautiful cabinet. 100% would have bought a Crystal Castles. My God, what a beautiful cabinet. I don't know. Anyways, there's lots of vertical games they could put on a cab. You know what? Just do 2 Atari cabs, do one with a horizontal screen, one with a vertical screen, and put the games on each. Enough people will buy them, trust me. Yes, Jason knows. Dedicated vertical and horizontal will be great for Atari, since the Stern arcade games they brought are both vertical and horizontal titles. There you go. Where is this here? Andy's Game Room says they did Centipede good on the first 12-1 though. No stretching. That's the other goddamn problem I had with it too, because on the Tempest, I was like, at least I can still play Centipede, and it's not so bad. It's a vertical game on a horizontal screen. But when you go into play, it's completely stretched out. It looks like bullshit. And Centipede is my favorite Atari arcade game. It kills me. It kills me that I sold my Gen 1 Arcade1Up Centipede, because that's the only time they released a good version of Centipede on these cabinets. GT 85. Oh, Sean, it'd be cool if there was 0 XL cabs and they instead had new IPs to release. I know, Sean. I know how you feel about that. We like XL cabs. Most people here, if you look at the poll, Sean, they want to see XL cabs, but it's 51% of them want to see new games. So you're not the only person there that wants new games as well. So we're all in the same mindset, man. We all want new games. 100%. I get it. But not everybody agrees with you. Not everybody wants the classic cabs that are sitting on the floor. I know what you want. You want those classic cabs at that $299 price point. I know. Anyways, man, thank you very much for the super chat. You didn't have to do that, man. But I got to give the people what they want. I already played that one already. Shit. I get lost where these are too. I used to play my Street Fighter like that. I have a chair. It works great. And a stool. I used to play my Street Fighter like that. And once I got my Turtles cab that came with the riser, then everything had to be on risers. I was right with you until I got my first cab with a riser. And I was like, I'm a riser guy now. Now they all got to be big. I want them all to be big. So anyways, that's where I'm to, and I've got my screen information up here because I'm an idiot, but here we go. This is basically the Centipede cab. This is one I would love to see them do in XL as well. So there you go. Game Room Guru says, on the new website, it says qualified for free shipping, then adds it on when you check out. Ooh, that's a kink they got to work out. Interesting. I haven't tried that yet. I don't usually order stuff direct from Arcade1Up. One is because they haven't had anything direct for sale this year. Everything's gone directly to the retailers. But obviously, where it costs a fortune to ship to Canada, you usually don't order from them directly. Oh, Sterling, never gonna happen. Nobody's gonna get Nintendo to do Arcade Cab. Even if Nintendo did a mountain of research about doing it themselves, they'd be like, "Oh, well, why are we going to? We just put it on the Switch. We don't give a shit." There's rumors out there too. I don't know if you're still here, Sean, about an N64 Mini coming out this holiday season, and I'm just like, you guys are wacky. There's no N64 Mini coming out. I mean, I wish it was true, but I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, and then, oh, Nicholas, thank you very much. This is an awesome comment. Nicholas Diorio, super chat, $5. Do you see Arcade1Up revisiting Tron? Itching to pull the trigger, but it's on a riser and it's a fixer-upper right out of the box. Scott, yes, Scott, I apologize for that. Yes, you're probably getting peppered with ads. I do turn on ads during the show. Sorry, man. They're just trying to get paid. Do you see Arcade1Up revisiting Tron, itching to pull the trigger, but it's on a riser? Now, you should only be getting an ad like once every, I think it's like, I forget what I turned it on for, but if it's coming up like once every couple of minutes, that's definitely not what I turned on. More ads, more I say. Sean knows. I see them doing Tron. Give me 1 second here. Uno momento, because I didn't bring Tron up, but Tron is a really good one to talk about because I know a little bit about Tron. Well, I can tell you what happened with the Space Ace cab. Unfortunately, you're not going to like it. Oh, you shouldn't have received 3 since then. We've only been going 38 minutes, Scott. I've got to look into that because I don't have it set up for that many ads. Definitely shouldn't have received 3 since the beginning. All right, so Tron Arcade Machine. Let's bring that up and talk about that really quick. And here we go. So Tron Arcade Machine. Is there a chance they'll revisit this? So, real smile bit. I got to go down. You should have got 9 since then, pal. And let me stare at this so I can come back to it real small bit because that's a good point. So here we go. Tron Arcade Machine listed as 965. That's Canadian. That's Canadian. So here we go. Here's the thing. Arcade1Up thought this was going to be a flop. It only had 2 games. They weren't sure if it was going to be a successful title. And it actually surprised them. It surprised them how well it sold to retailers and how well it's sold. And I've said, obviously, it's beautiful. I mean, it sits there in that Mount Rushmore of the best looking cabs Arcade1Up have made to date. It's right up there with Star Wars, Dragon's Lair, then of course Tron. So is there a reason to do it? I think there is. I think Arcade1Up will talk themselves out of it because it's already a tall cab. But yeah, I definitely think there's a reason to do it. So yeah, I know, Nicholas, a lot of people are surprised by that, but the sales number for Tron surprised them. What's disappointing though, the sales number for Tron surprised them, and they didn't take that information and say, geez, it looks like if we do 80s cabs really, really well with all the correct art and foolishness, people are going to buy them. So yeah, let's do more 80s cabs. They didn't do that. So anyways, I think Tron would be an excellent choice for an XL cab. I'd be down about it. Jason Little Alien, he says, let's talk about that Burger Time Deluxe that was supposed to be released this year and was halted. I don't know about that. I'm going to stare at this as well too. I'm trying to get better at this stuff too. Tron XL with blacklight would be amazing. Yeah. Stock Jock knows 80s cabs do sell. Like one of the cabs that is reported to be coming out next year was reported, from what I'm told, the 80s cab that was supposed to come out last year was Robotron, and it got pushed. And by Robotron, I mean a cab that has Robotron on it. Don't want to confirm it's Robotron because the more I hear about it, it sounds like it's going to be Smash TV. So there you go. Sorry, guys. I got to learn to mute when I do that. But that was supposed to be the 80s cab that was supposed to come out last year. That's what I'm being told. I had also heard a rumor that it wasn't going to be Robotron at all, and it was actually going to be a Defender cab done right. A real Defender cab with the Defender Partycade games list done in the 3/4 scale. So that would have been badass as well. And I mean, the sales data from Tron should have told them that from what I've heard. So I don't know why they didn't do it. Plus, you got guys on YouTube like me, assholes, that keep saying, make more 80s games. You would think they'd want to shut me up, right? Game Room Guru, tell the truth. You have the Beta cab to your right. I don't have anything. The first Arcade1Up cab that sold for me was Pac-Man. 80s games sell best. Yeah, you're right. Certain ones don't, though. Papa Brad, like, I had a lot of trouble actually selling my Burger Time cab, which really surprised me. So I've got it starred as one of the questions to come back to. What happened to a Burger Time cab? I don't know why they wouldn't do it. Like, it's not a problem with licensing because all those Data East games are what's the name of the company that runs Data East now? I should know this off the top of my head. But anyways, this company like basically sells the Data East rights to anybody. Like, I could come up with an arcade company tomorrow, no physical machine, no real money, and be like, hey, you know, I want to put Burger Time, Karate Champ, Joe and Mac, and something else on my cab. Can I have the rights? They'd be like, yes, man, we don't need anything. What's the name of that company that owns the Data East license now? Oh, let me take this off screen so I can go find it instead of looking like a jerk. See if any of you guys know, if you can get it before me. I should know this off the top of my head because G-Mode. Thank you, Jason. So the funny thing was, I remember I think I was on an episode of, I don't think it was Game Days, might have been Game Days for iArcade, and it was like their anniversary show. And I was talking to John afterwards, and I said to him, I was like, John, you got to go talk to G-Mode. These guys are idiots. They don't sell their license to anybody, and it's like cheap. And then John came back like a week later, and he's like, we got Data East games. I was like, I know. Oh, G-Mode. Oh, Jason, don't start that with the Smash TV cab art. Oh, I don't want it. I know other people do. Make more 80s cabs. So, anyways, that's what I want to see. Thank you very much for the super chat, Nicholas Diorio. I got to make sure I get one that I haven't played yet. Let's see if I haven't done this one. Ooh, I do love that never-ending story. That makes me a happy, happy dude. Papa Brad confirming G-Mode. All right, before we get to the other cab I really wanted to talk about, let's go back and look at some of these ones I stirred. So Space Ace, for those of you that don't remember, back when Arcade1Up first decided to do Dragon's Lair, it was based on a fan vote that was sent to them that they had like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5,000 signatures on. So Arcade1Up, basically what they did was they put a weird pre-order out there. They put the Dragon's Lair direct-to-consumer out there, the special reserve issue. But then they were also taking some kind of notify me or something like that, where if they got to 3,000 notify me's on Space Ace, they would do a second run of Dragon's Lair with the Space Ace skin. And unfortunately, they never got there. I don't know how well Dragon's Lair sold direct to consumer, but seeing how it came up for sale here in Canada as a regular item and then at some other stores, that would lead me to believe that it didn't sell as well as they had hoped, and they didn't move out their entire shipment through direct to consumer. So I don't know how well Dragon's Lair did, which is a bummer because it's an awesome cab. Screen and control panel is a little low for my liking on that one. Everything else is awesome, especially the attention to detail they did with the secondary screen and back. But I don't think it did as well as they had hoped it was going to do. Jason Little Alien, Let's talk about that Burger Time Deluxe that was supposed to be released this year and was halted. Burger Time Deluxe, where are you hearing about this? This is the first I've heard about it. I heard that Arcade1Up didn't want to work with Gmode anymore after they had signed their deal with iArcade, because the way I don't know if it's the way Arcade1Up now, but the way Arcade1Up were back then is they wouldn't work with companies and licenses that other companies were putting out. They would intentionally go out of their way not to work with them because of the risk factor that, oh, well, people can already play these games on iArcade, or people can already play these games on the Legends. So they didn't know if there would be enough interest to do a deluxe version. Now, me personally, I think Burger Time is one of the most beautiful cabs of all time. I love the Arcade1Up version of Burger Time they did, but it could be so much better because the cab shape is actually supposed to be more like, Pac-Man, more like Galaga, that kind of form factor, and then the chef built into that. So I would love to see a Burger Time Deluxe cabinet. Jason is telling me that Travis mentioned it on a Corner Cage stream, and that's where it's coming from. Mentioned it was just removed from 2023 and didn't have further info. Well, I've never seen it, but then again, I've never really had the 2023 list. I was told, like I said, that the 80s game that was supposed to come out this year was supposed to be the 80s game was supposed to be Robotron, Smash TV, that list of games. So there you go. Hey, Jimmy Reyes there. Thank you very much, man. XL Peasant Partycade. A lot of people like the Partycades. I got my first Partycade a while ago. It's pretty good. Papa Brad's got a Stranger Things comment. Papa Brad, we're going to talk about this, brother. Michael B., I played Stranger Things Pro Pinball for at least an hour at Wayback's Arcade. What upgrades does Premium have over the Pro? Do you know? I had a blast playing it. Yeah, it's a great game. It's Brian Eddy. I think that was Brian Eddy's first game that he made after his time away from pinball. A lot of people consider it to be like an updated version of Attack from Mars, especially where it has that center target with the Demigorgon. The difference between the Premium and the Pro, from my understanding going back to it, and this is why I'm okay, excuse me, this is why I'm okay with getting the Pro, is the big difference is there's a projector in the pinball machine itself that, that screen that the Demigorgon busts out of, that wall that's up there that looks like the building they're in, that's actually a projection screen, and there's a projector playing different video clips on it. So it has like a secondary DMD type screen on the screen that the projector plays on that screen before the Demigorgon bursts out. On top of that, the telekinesis multi-ball actually involves a magnet, kind of like the Mechagodzilla magnet in the Godzilla pinball machine. So instead of it just going up and locking in that plastic tube, it actually gets caught on a magnet up on the back wall. I think those are the two biggest differences. And for me and what I can afford, the difference of about, $4,500. I don't need those. All right, Stock Jock, here we go. If they come out with a Robotron 2084, I will fly Michael B. down to Tampa and we can live stream him playing me. Oh, you just want to beat me again, Stock Jock. Thank you very much for the super chat, Stock Jock. You are awesome, man. So when we were in Cleveland, we were at this place called the 16-Bit Bar, and let me tell you something. It was an arcade that doesn't want to be an arcade. It had lots of really cool arcade machines. A lot of them weren't working. They weren't in the best shape. And it had way too much open space, had way too much light. It didn't feel like an arcade. It was definitely more like a trendy spot for young people to come to that also had arcades. I would say that's the best way to explain it. But the coolest moment from that is the fact that while I was downstairs, they had two arcades off to the side on the right side next to some very beautiful women that were over there playing some kind of other game. There were these two blonde women that would just blow you away. So I had no problem walking back and forth to the Robotron machine from the pinball area. So one time I walked by and there was a Robotron 2084 out there. So I went and played, and then along comes Stock Jock. So he watched me play it a couple times, and I think my top score was in the 60,000 range, somewhere around there. I was pretty drunk, so I wasn't at the top of my game. Not that I could do much better than that anyways. Anyways, Stock Jock throws his quarter in there, first try, gets 100,000 like right off the bat. So he killed me at Robotron, absolutely killed me at Robotron. So you don't got to fly me down, man. But I would love another chance to hone my skills and take you on in Robotron 2084 again. But you want to tell the other part of the story where it was you and Toxin. We were at the convention and you were both telling me that like, oh, we don't know if we like Ghostbusters. It's kind of a hard pinball machine. And then I got like 100 million right off the bat in front of you, and you guys were both like, you can stop now. You beat our scores. Anyways, Stock Jock, thank you very much, my brother. You got to give the people what they want. Man, I'm going to tell you guys something. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do this tonight. I was still pretty sick, really tired, running on running on very little sleep. So you guys have made this very enjoyable for me tonight. Made it easy to get through. I really just like being here and hanging out with you guys. What game is on the top of my list? For Scott, do you mean for Arcade1Up or my pinball list? Fago Thug 69. What people want is no more of that horrible pinball money video. Well, I'm going to keep playing it. You don't have to be here for it if you don't like it. So, number one on the top of my list, which I think is a no-brainer for Arcade1Up to do, which they should do. Come on, guys. This is easy. I mean, you should know this already. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it stopped sharing the screen for some reason. That's not what I wanted. Bring it up. Wow. Is it flickering like that for you guys? There it is. Finally there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Star Wars. In my opinion, this is the for sure no-brainer. It's the best cab they've ever made, whether it be the original, whether it be this one they re-released this past year. A Star Wars XL would be absolutely badass. I would 1000% be all in going out and buying a Star Wars XL. The flicker wasn't intentional, Scott. I can tell you that. The flicker wasn't intentional. And it's still doing it. That's wild. It's a skyhook, Carlos says. Yeah. So for me, what the hell is going on? For me, all right, guys, I don't know what's going on here. Let me take this off. Let's try it again. Man, oh man. There it is. It's kind of like your old pinball money super chats. There you go. Mando Premium. No. My top 100%, which I will, Scott, tell you about in a second, is Stranger Things. So for me, slam dunk is Star Wars XL. Now, the cool thing about this is also probably the most likely, because if you go back to that list, that's not really the list, but might still be the list. We don't really know. One of the games that was already scheduled for next year in the proposed lineup was in fact Star Wars XL. Now there were some other XLs mentioned. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but like one was like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 XL. I don't support that because one is I don't really support the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 game yet. I don't think that you can figure out what you'd want from that. So for me, I think honestly, figure out what you're going to do in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 before you would ever consider releasing an XL for that. You've already got Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. You've pretty much perfected what you're going to do with those. Do an XL on that. But Marvel vs. Capcom, still got a lot of work to do on that shit, man. So I wouldn't try to rush out an XL of that. But Star Wars from that list, yeah, that's a slam dunk. Star Wars is still best cab you guys have ever made. The yoke is great. You've got Glenn out there who's got this awesome product who even says, you don't even need it. The Arcade1Up yoke is really good. That's Glenn. Glenn says that. So, I mean, this was a good product, a really good product. You know, the emulation was spot on. The fact that you've got a BOE monitor for your XLs now. Yeah. You're all clear, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home. Arcade1Up. Make Star Wars XL. Star Wars is the best cab you ever made. We wanted an XL. It was already on your list. Make us happy in 2024. Do a Star Wars XL. So yeah, there it is. And that is honestly, I think it was pretty obvious from my thumbnail. Those are the 3 to 4 XL cabs I think we could possibly get next year. What I would like to see. Honestly, the biggest stretch for me is the Atari one, because I think Atari would be I don't know how to say this. I don't know how well Centipede did, and I don't know how well the 50th is going to do. I hope it does well. I don't think us, this community, are going to be as interested in the 50 as maybe Arcade1Up agrees. Oh, yeah. Nicholas, that's a good... Dragot says, not a Star Wars cab fan. Not everybody is, Dragot. Like, honestly, these are older games, so if that's not your jam, that's not your jam. I get it. Hungry Wolf Guru says 100% sell my Star Wars to upgrade to a Star Wars XL. I agree as well. And Nicholas says 100% agree, but I wish Sega would be a bit more realistic with their license fee. I want Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, there you go. I'm nostalgic for Centipede too. I would love a Centipede. Unfortunately, like I was just saying, I don't know how well that Centipede Legacy sold. And I don't mean sold aftermarket. I don't know how well it sold to retailers, because it did have a very limited retail release as opposed to the rest of the legacy cabs from that year. And the Atari 50th, I'm very concerned about how that's going to sell. I know in this market, there doesn't seem to be the same kind of interest from these arcade fanatics. So I don't know how well that cab's going to sell overall. So I really hope that this isn't the end of Atari cabs. I think they're just going in the wrong direction. So I think something like I'm suggesting, an XL Centipede with a vertical screen, that'd be something in the right direction. And I think people would buy that. A lot of people would buy that. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think they would. But Star Wars, yeah, I think that would be a good one. I think Scott B, it's all these things. One is Sega. Sega says, yeah, so you want one of our license? $500,000 up front. And then everybody's like, well, we're not going to give you that. That's the end of the discussion. Sega overprices things. But the other side of that is, yeah, the technology. I think with the emergence of the rock chip now and getting them down to a certain price point, if Arcade1Up can start working with that, then we're moving in the right direction. I don't know if Star Wars XL, if there's a commercial emulator out there. I'm not that techie. I don't know if there's something out there that can make it happen. We talked about this a couple minutes ago, Wheeze. I think it's more of a possibility than people will think, because what I was told is the sales of the Tron cabinet, even to retailers, surprised Arcade1Up. So it's definitely a possibility. All right, guys. So that's it. That's all I want to say about the XL cabs. I didn't get a chance to watch 19K Fox's stream from last night yet. Again, I was dying sick, so I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'll go back because people said 19K Fox threw a lot of cold water on the XL theory for 2024. So I'll have to go back and watch what he said. But me, I'm positive, man. I don't think this company is going away like other people do. I know it's easy for me to say that, especially since I'm doing some stuff with them now, but I also just hope not. This arcade, hobby has been a great distraction. It was an amazing distraction through the pandemic. And it's been a fun hobby for these last couple of years for all of us to get together to talk about this stupid shit when, things weren't so good originally. And we got all this stuff going on in the world right now. So it's fun to escape in this stupid stuff where we can buy toy recreations of these classic arcade games that a lot of us thought we would never have a chance to own in our homes. So, I hope these companies don't go away. And I don't understand it. I don't know why everybody's assuming that right now with Arcade1Up. If next year, I get that they don't have the licenses. They didn't come out with as many new releases as they did in previous years. So maybe there's something to that, but we'll see. If 2024 comes out and they don't got, they don't have many cabs coming out and it looks like they're just treading water, we'll have a more serious conversation about that. So anyways, guys, before I go, I did want to talk about some other stuff, and I hope this is not too boring for you. So I was really sick, and I was in and out of consciousness for the last 2.5 days. Today was the first day I felt somewhat normal. So We're in the spooky season, and I actually took the time, and I never give myself time to do anything stupid, like watch movies or anything anymore. And I'm a huge movie guy, so I watched some really horrible, horrible horror movies. So the first one I watched was a movie I haven't watched in years, which was Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou. And if you've never seen it, go give it a chance because it's a lot better than I remembered it being. It's definitely probably the best of the prom night movies. Definitely better than Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss. Definitely better than the first Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. I know this is probably, sacrilege to some of you, but Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou is actually pretty good. And then I watched some new movies I had never seen before. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. The first one was House on Sorority Row, which was actually a very interesting movie. I enjoyed that. Then I watched a movie called Slaughter High, and I had never seen it before, but this movie is fantastic. Like, it is so stupid. It is amazing. If you've never seen it, it's on Tubi right now, at least in Canada. Go check it out. The music is actually done by Harry Manfredi Jr. So it's the same guy who did the music for like the early Friday the 13th movies. And when I say it's done by Harry Manfredi, he literally stole some of the music, sampled some of the music from Friday the 13th and reused it for Slaughter High. Like, it's so blatantly obvious. Anyways, it's got this whole April Fool's Day, April 1st dynamic to it that reminds me of the movie April Fool's Day, which, if I'm not mistaken, was also somehow tied to Friday the 13th. The girl from the second movie was in it, might have had the same director, and a young Biff was in it before Back to the Future as well. So go check that out. But it also had a really disappointing ending. I don't want to ruin it too bad, but there it is. And then last but not least, I watched Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In on Dark Night of the Scarecrow, which is a made-for-TV horror movie. But don't get dismayed by the made-for-TV part because it was still pretty awesome. Anyways, that's how I spent my 2.5 days sick. When I wasn't unconscious, I was watching those horrible horror movies. So I just wanted to throw it out there. The other thing I want to tell you about, so I meant to bring this up, and let me just bring it up really quickly. I know a lot of people are here for home arcade talk, so they probably don't want to talk about this, but yay! See if I can find it. This is not the distributor that I can use here in Canada, at least I don't think it is anyways. But let me just pull this up on screen. There was some pretty big news there in the last week, and that is Stranger Things actually got a re-release. So I wanted to talk about this really quickly. So, being the smart person that I am, I got ahead of it, and I actually reached out to my distributor, which is Player One here in Canada, and I said, I heard there's a rumor that Stern may be re-releasing a Stranger Things pinball later on this coming up year, and I just wanted to put my name down just in case. So I think it was last Tuesday, they actually made the official announcement, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm not ready for it at all. I just got home from Cleveland. So I was like, okay, what do I do? I had already posted my Dungeons and Dragons pinball for sale. I got a couple things going up now. Then the guy contacted me and he's like, hey, you told me to put your name down. It's available. Do you want the pro or the premium? So I wrote him back and I said pro. But I said, when do I got to have my money in? Because I'm in the middle of selling a pinball machine. So he was cool enough. He's not going to charge me the deposit right now, and he's got my name down. But I'm in a mad scramble. So before these go out, I've got to sell my Dungeons and Dragons pinball. I've got to sell my At Games Legends pinball because I've got the 4KP coming. And basically every bit of collectibles in my house is going now. So am I going to be getting Stranger Things Pro? Maybe if I can move things in time for the pre-order to come out. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, that's where I am with Stranger Things Pinball. I just wanted to share my story with you. If you didn't see my video last week, I am goddamn trying. I'm going to do everything in my power to make it possible. So yeah, after this weekend Science Spirit, I may not have two anymore. I was pretty sick. Making Circle says, 499 super chat. What's up, Michael B? Late to the party, but I'd like to see a Racer Cabin XL, like one of the Cruising Series, and a Tron with a better joystick. Agree with you on the Tron and the better joystick. It'd be really cool if they actually made amends with Glenn and worked something out and had Glenn help them make a really good Tron joystick for the XL. I 100% agree with that. And yeah, I agree with you as well, making circles. I've said this a bunch of times. Both the racing cabs and the shooter cabs would both benefit from a move to the XL form factor. For the shooting cabs, it's that 19-inch screen, and for the racing cabs, I almost felt they were a little bit small. I almost felt a little bit squat over trying to stand up and race. So I'd like to see what they could do for XL as well. So I completely agree with you that. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. And let's see if I can find one that. Which one is which? That's not the one I meant to play, but that's the one you got. I think I ended up playing that 3 times already. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much, Making Circles. I appreciate it, my man. Dre got knows pinball money. No, 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 no. I'm not, because part of this, Jay, is I'm also selling that Dungeons and Dragons pinball. I didn't intend to buy it and then turn around and sell it so quickly. I didn't know Stranger Things was happening when I picked it up. I was so excited to be able to get a really good deal on a second pinball machine, especially one P-Dubs had put over so hard. That such a cool and unique table, but I really only have room for 2. So if I'm going to have 2, obviously Stranger Things is right there. That's my, Charlie Chuck knows this. My 1A and 1B are Godzilla and Stranger Things. So if there's a chance for me to do Stranger Things as well, I'm going to do everything in my goddamn power to make it happen if I can. Someone also told me to stop saying goddamn, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen. Oh, forever Mikey Two Pins. Yeah, that's all I can be. That's all the room I got. And someone also asked me, did I sell my Dragon's Lair Arcade1Up? Yeah, I did. I didn't want to, but there was a local guy here. I put it up. He bought it from me. Ended up being a super, super, super nice guy. He had actually had, he has a pinball machine as well. I think he's got Metallica now is the pinball machine he has now, and he actually deals with the same guy that was my distributor that sold me my Godzilla. So he told me some really nice messages about him. Said it was his lifelong dream to have Dragon's Lair cab in his home, and I was happy to do that. I miss it, of course, but it was just down in storage in my house, and I wasn't using it. So I feel bad. I'm a full XL diva now. Everything is, my Arcade1Up area is right here. You move mountains to own Stranger Things pinball. That's what I'm trying to do, man. So like right now, everything that I have that is basically just for display. Like I'm even going to sell some of my toys. Like I got a bunch of AEW figures, Transformer figures, a bunch of other stuff. All that's going to go. I'm going to try to move out everything. I'm moving out my quarter arcades, and I'm going to see if I can make that ditch effort to get from zero to zero to the goal. Hopefully, I think November is my deadline. The problem I'm running into is that I had early in September put up my Dungeons and Dragons pinball for sale. I have a really awesome guy who wants to buy it. Didn't haggle me at all. Said, yeah, I'll just buy the price. We're good to go. But he's having trouble getting his money together, and it's been delayed a little bit. So I might miss the mark anyways. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. P-Dub said something to me long here. It's like dumping a beautiful, stable girlfriend for a new, younger, hotter piece. So we understand. Just remember, someone can come along and treat D&D with love it deserves. Oh, P-Dubs, if we were closer, man, I'd figure something out. I know you want it bad. Oh, yeah, see, Papa Brad knows. Stern Pinball is one of my, like, you can't go wrong with Stranger Things. Yeah, Stock Jack. Did you play at the same place I did at that 16-bit bar? Will there be a raffle for it? I don't think there'll be a dedicated raffle, but see, Stock Jock already won one of these raffles. He's hooked now. So yeah, the guys at Project Pinball have a raffle going now. I'll buy a ticket on that as well, just in case. And that is going to be just for a pro and premium. So if you win one of those and Stranger Things is available at the time, you can pick one of those as your Pro and Premium. So yes, there will be a raffle, but it's not going to be dedicated to Stranger Things. At least I don't think so. They might do a completely separate raffle just for Stranger Things as well. Give it up, P-dubs. I want Stranger Things more. It has nothing to do with Project Pinball has breakfast with Todd Tucky as well. Get out of town. That's awesome. Anyways, guys, I don't want to keep you any longer than I already have. I've already gone 10 minutes over my mark. I didn't even know if I'd be able to do tonight's show because I'm exhausted. I'm on 1 hour sleep. So I'm going to say good night. Adieu. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, talking about these XL cabs. Arcade1Up, Home Arcade, the hobby, it's all still very much alive. We can all have different opinions. You can like what you like, don't like what you don't like. Just enjoy what you want to enjoy and just be cool to each other. Be excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful night. My God, I hope I can fall asleep tonight. Anyways, guys, have a great night. Thank you so much. This has been Chillin' Chat with Michael B. And once again, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to those who celebrate it.